Oh, Claire, do you mind trying to get the props ready for the YouTube lesson for my children?
I'm so sorry about that, boys and girls. You caught me eating the resources for this next lesson. Lesson 2, here we go. 3D shapes. So if you watch the 2D shapes, this will make a lot more sense than if you didn't. So here we go. Okay, boys and girls, so can we remember this word from lesson 1 on 2D shapes? A polygon, remember? Yeah, of course you do. Any 2D shape with flat sides only. So we looked at lots, didn't we? Triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, hexagons, etc, etc. So now we're moving on to 3D shape. Now look at the word polygon. It turns into a polyhedron, okay? Polygon, polyhedron, okay? This is a 3D shape now, so we can pick it up now, all right? And it's made up of flat surfaces, faces, or also known as plane surfaces only. So let me give you an example. I've made a little church for you here, look. A little patio at the front. And a pyramid, hexagonal prism, cube, asymmetrical pyramid. We'll go into the detail in a minute. But can you see how all of these shapes have flat faces, plane surfaces? Whoopsie. Can you see that? All flat surfaces. No curved faces in sight. Therefore, it must be those shapes there must be polyhedra for plural or polyhedron for singular. Okay. So, can you remember if it wasn't a polygon, it had to have at least one curved side. So we looked at semicircles, circles, and ovals. Those were for 2D shapes. But for 3D shape, so if it's not a polyhedron, it must therefore have at least one curved surface or face. So let me give you some examples of those. Okay, so here's our first 3D shape that's not a polyhedron. I've got a tin of chickpeas here, but you could have baked beans, whatever. This is a classic cylinder shape. Okay, so that can't be a polyhedron because it's got at least one curved face, as you can see here. And we've got a different non-polyhedron here. It's a cone, so it's got two faces. You've got one circular face on the bottom, and then we've got one curved face here, so another example of not a polyhedron. Then we have a hemisphere, which is basically a ball that's been cut in half. Not many people remember this one, so see if you can remember that one. All right, so half a ball is a hemisphere. All right, so that leads us on to a full sphere, okay, a full circular sphere here, like your typical ball shape. So I've got a picture of the globe here, but now here's a nice fact for you. Our actual world isn't a perfect sphere. Oh no, it's not. At the poles, it is squashed down ever so slightly, so it's got a fat waistband. And for a 3D shape that's not a perfect sphere, we call it a spheroid, okay? Just so you know. Okay, so let's look at all the different types of polyhedra now. Okay, so remember, any 3D shape with just flat faces, okay? And we use faces, not sides, because sides we tend to use for 2D shapes, faces for 3D shapes. So here's the first category I want to show you. It's pyramids, and it's really simple. It basically, you just pick any 2D shape, put it on its base, so that means on the bottom, okay, its base, put that on the bottom, and it becomes that type of pyramid. And then all of the corners of that 2D shape come up to meet at an apex. Can you see that? It's got a tip. We call that an apex, A-P-E-X, okay? So here's a classic example. So the base is a square, therefore it is a square-based pyramid. Then there's another one, it's quite small. And then this one here, let's have a look at what the base shape is. Oh look, it's a triangle, so it's a triangle-based pyramid. Now this one's got a special type. It also is known as a tetrahedron. We'll look at that in a minute. And then I've drawn one here for you. Well, I'll have a try anyway. Here's a hexagon on the bottom, therefore it's a hexagon-based pyramid, and it meets up to make that apex, don't forget. Just like magic, and it's appeared. So there it is, apex, where all of the corners of the base, 2D shape on the bottom, come up to meet at one point called the apex. So we're all happy with what a pyramid is, yes? So it all depends on the base shape and then it makes that pyramid. Okay, so now we're going to look at the second category of polyhedra, and that is prisms. Now I like these shapes. It's basically how I remember this as like a block of cheese. So let me just show you my block of cheese made earlier. Claire's going to kill me because I'm cut this up. But anyway, here's a block of cheese. Okay, now I know this is a prism because watch what I've done here. I've cut it down the middle, and then when you open it up, can you see that is a rectangle? And when you open up this one, it is also a rectangle. So if it's the same shape inside when you cut it up anywhere along the shape, then it must be a prism. So it doesn't depend on where I cut it either. So I could cut it anywhere along that shape. I could cut it here, I could cut it just right on the edge, I could cut it over here, and wherever I open it up, it is the same shape, i.e. a rectangle in this case. So let's go back to our prisms. Alright, so we've got lots of different types of prisms here. Now this one here, it is definitely a prism because wherever I cut it, it will make a square, definitely. Here's another one. Wherever I cut it, again, open it up, it will be a square. But this is a special type of prism. It's called a cube. Everybody knows that one because it's got squares on all of the faces. Alright, 6 faces. Then we come over to the cuboid. Alright, another prism. Again, this is like my block of cheese, isn't it? So wherever I cut it along here and open it up, it will be a square. If I cut it down this side along here and open it up, it will be a rectangle. Okay, this is basically a cube that's been stretched out, and it's known as a cuboid. But don't forget, it is a type of prism. And then we have 2 other types here. Oh look, this looks like my Toblerone when I was eating earlier. So this one here again is a prism. Wherever I cut it and open it up, it will be a triangle. Therefore, it is known as a triangular prism. Alright, and here's another one. On the side of this prism, it is a hexagon. And on the other side, yep, it's a hexagon. And wherever I cut it, yep, it will be the same shape. Therefore, it is a hexagonal prism. Okay. Oh, last but not least, I almost forgot. Can you remember this this chart I made for you last time for 2D shape? Yeah? So the Greek prefix tri, quad, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, deca, and it tells you how many sides that 2D shape had. Well, you can also use this for 3D shapes that you can't quite work out what type of shape it is. So for instance, if you had this shape here and you weren't quite sure, you couldn't remember that it was a square-based pyramid, well, there's a nice little cheat you can do. You can just count the number of faces on it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, it must be a penta. And then because we're doing 3D shapes, it would be a pentahedron, okay? So let's have a look at one more, just really quickly. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-sided shape, 3D shape, so it must be an octahedron. Oh yes, so not only is that an hexagonal prism, it is also an octahedron. Okay guys, so we've looked at polyhedra, any 3D shape that I can pick up that is made of flat faces only. We've looked at non-polyhedra, so it just needs to have one curved face and it can't be a polyhedra. So we looked at lots of different types of those, like spheres and hemispheres, etc. Then we looked a bit more detail into polyhedra. We looked at pyramids. So remember, just look at the bottom of the pyramid and it becomes that type of pyramid. So if it had a square on the bottom, it's a square-based pyramid, and then all the corners meet up to an apex. And then we looked at prisms, probably my favorite. Just think of a block of cheese. Wherever you cut it along that shape, if you open it up and it's the same 2D shape inside on either side, then it must be a prism. So we looked at lots of different types like cuboids and hexagonal prisms and triangular prisms. So here's the time for the home learning task. And we're going to go for a little hunt now, and you're going to follow me around my home. Yes, indeed you are. And we're going to find lots of different types of 3D shapes. Some regular, some, a lot will probably be irregular. But let's go have a hunt. Yeah! Okay, doobity-doo. Here we go. Here's the first one already. Look, this is our kitchen. Oops, I need to take those coat hangers off. Can you see this this cupboard? What shape is that? That looks like a polyhedron to me, because it's all flat faces. And it must be yeah, you've guessed it, it's a cuboid, or a prism. If you got that one right, well done, give yourself a pat on the back. Oh, okay, I had to stop it there because I fell on the stairs, whoops. Alright, now, look, I'm going upstairs, doodly-doo. Oh, look at this, look at the banister, look. Ooh, what shape is that? That looks like almost a sphere, but I'd say that looks like a hemisphere there, doesn't it, boys and girls? And if you squash that down, I reckon that would be a sphere. I suppose you could say it's a spheroid. But anyway, oh look, here's another cuboid with a nice little flurry on top, nice little curve. So maybe it's not a polyhedron after all. Anyway, let's look over here. Oh, look on the windowsill. Oh, we have, let's have a look. Oh, this almost looks like a perfect prism. Yeah, although it does go in a little bit at the sides, but let's count that 2D shape. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aha! So it must be a hexagonal prism. Aha! Splendid. Oh, we've got a nice looking box here. This looks like a prism, doesn't it, boys and girls? It looks like my block of cheese. Can you remember what type of prism? Yes, of course you do. It's a cuboid. Well done. Oh, we've got a circular one here. Is that a polyhedron or not? It looks like it's got a curved face to me. That can't be a polyhedron. So that looks like a weird straight, like a nice squashed cylinder to me. Oh, we've got a nice little chest there. Looks like another polyhedron. Oh, and a little piggy bank as well. A spheroid, by the looks of it. Not a perfect sphere. All right, last place. Let's go and have a look at James's room. I'm sure he won't mind. He's not here at the moment. Oh, look, it's Mr. Bump. Hello. So we've got another spheroid by the looks of it. And look at his cupboard. Look. Oh, it's a bit of a mess. Oh, there's Darth Vader. Falling asleep. We've got another cuboid there, but another polyhedron. Splendid. Oh, look! I just found this in the kitchen. Some digestives. What shape is that, boys and girls? It's got curved faces. Can be a polyhedron. That looks like a cylinder to me. Ooh, I think I'll have those later. Oh, and here we go. We've got some biscuits. Some dinosaur chocolate biscuits, to be precise. What shape is that, boys and girls? Is that a pyramid? Is that a prism? Yes, that's a prism. Well done if you said prism. Wherever I cut it will be the same. That looks like a cuboid. Oh, and oh dear, look. This is the evidence that I had earlier. I tried to sellotape it all back together again, but I think I got caught earlier, didn't I? What type of shape is this? This looks like another prism, doesn't it? Oh, whoops, it's open. But that looks like a triangular prism. Ooh, triangular chocolate and triangular pieces, lovely. That was intense, that little treasure hunt, and that's precisely what I would like you to do now. Alright, that's your home learning task. I want you to go around the garden if you want to. I didn't go in the garden, it's raining, it's horrible out there. I'll just show you. See? Horrible. There's been a storm only yesterday. Anyway, I want you to go around the house and look for as many different 3D shapes as you can this time. I know you did 2D shapes last week, but you're doing 3D this time. Look for some polyhedra, see if you can find some non-polyhedra. Can you find some prisms? Can you find some pyramids? I'll be very impressed if you do. If you do, put them down in the comments box, please. I want to see more people this time. If not, bring it into school and I want to see your splendid work. Well done! And until next time, lesson 3, you might even see a little special guest. Goodbye for then.